Welcome to the boogeyman. Some nights the world feels too quiet, almost as if something is holding its breath. In that silence, beneath the towering walls of a cathedral, I sat in a confessional booth, never knowing that my next visitor would not be a man at all, but the devil himself. And what he whispered through the grate was not just a confession, it was a prophecy of the end. The devil entered my confessional booth and told me hell has fallen. It was a quiet night, the kind of quiet that feels unnatural, like the world was holding its breath. The cathedral stood like a lonely sentinel in the heart of the city, its great stone walls swallowing the faint hum of traffic outside. No storms, no thunder, just silence under a sky where city lights drowned out the stars. I sat alone in the confessional booth, fighting sleep. The air smelled of old incense and wood polish, mingled with something faintly metallic that always lingered in the cathedral after midnight. My eyes burned from exhaustion. I had spent the entire evening hearing confessions, small sins, whispered regrets, rehearsed prayers. But now the cathedral was empty. Or so I thought. The booth door opened without footsteps, without warning, without even the creak of hinges. It was as though the air itself had parted. Someone slipped inside, and the wooden partition rattled softly as the stranger sat across from me. My eyelids fluttered. I blinked awake, startled. Through the thin wooden grate, I saw only shadows, no features, but one detail stood out. Hands, long pale fingers, adorned with heavy rings. The jewels caught the faint glow of candlelight and scattered odd crawling reflections across the ceiling, like worms writhing beneath glass. "Good evening, Father," the man said. His voice was unsettling, smooth, cold, and yet strangely comforting, like silk wrapping around a knife. "Forgive me, for I have sinned. It has been longer than you can imagine since my last confession." Something inside me froze. My training forced the ritual words from my mouth. "That is an unusual beginning, my son." The man chuckled, low and rich. "I am Lucifer." I swallowed hard. I had heard it before, of course. Delusional men claiming to be the devil. They came every so often, lost souls drowning in madness. But this one felt different. His presence pressed against my soul with the weight of something inhuman. My chest tightened, my hands shook. This was no delusion. My body knew what my mind resisted. This was truly him. "Do you wish to confess?" I asked, though my throat was dry and every instinct screamed at me to flee. Lucifer leaned closer, his shadow stretching like claws across the booth wall. A faint smile curled his lips. "Yes, and my confession is simple." He paused, savoring the moment. "Hell is no longer mine." The air itself seemed to still. I stammered, my heart hammering, "Do you mean redeemed? Saved by Christ?" Lucifer's laugh was soft, bitter, almost mournful. "I almost wish that were true, Father. No, something far worse has happened." The confession. He began to speak, his voice weaving images into my mind. He told me of rebellion in the underworld, demons tearing each other apart, lords abandoning him one by one. Mammon had vanished, Lilith had betrayed him, Baal had carved his own dominion from hell's ashes. For the first time since creation, Lucifer was not ruler, but an exile. Still, that was not the heart of his confession. His voice lowered, carrying something I never imagined I would hear from the devil himself. Fear. In my desperation, I searched deeper than hell itself, into the cracks beyond creation, into the silence before the first word, and I found them. His rings clinked as he bowed his head, the sound sharp as shackles. Things older than God's light, beings without form, without mercy. They do not care for thrones, for souls, for punishment or reward. They care only for hunger. To them, heaven and hell are nothing more than scraps. A shiver raced down my spine. My mouth felt dry as ash. Against my will, I asked, "What did you do?" Lucifer's eyes, dark as the abyss, glimmered faintly through the grate. For a moment, the weight of eternity pressed down on me. His voice cracked, trembling just for a breath. I woke them. The visions. The booth dissolved, my vision shattered into fragments. I saw hell collapsing, its fire quenched, its cities crumbling into black dust. I saw demons screaming as they were devoured not by flame, but by endless nothingness. Then came the shapes. Twisted beings rising from the void, wings made not of feathers, but of circles within circles, eyes upon eyes, all turning inward. Limbs bent in impossible ways, bodies that writhed like serpents of light and shadow, faces that were not faces, only voids that swallowed thought itself. Their presence gnawed at my sanity. Their hunger was not of flesh, nor of souls, it was of existence itself. A void that clawed at the marrow of creation, unmaking all it touched. I felt myself slipping, fracturing, my mind screamed, and then darkness. I was back in the booth, gasping for air, drenched in sweat. My fingernails had dug bloody crescents into my palms. Lucifer leaned forward, his voice now a whisper almost drowned in despair. "I only wanted God's throne. I thought I could do better. Instead, I have doomed everything. They now rule hell, and soon heaven itself." The devil's regret. I stared through the grate. For the first time, the devil looked small, broken, the arrogance stripped away, leaving something raw and hollow. "For what it's worth, Father, I am sorry. I wanted to rule this world. Now I must watch it rot. Angels will fall, gates of heaven will crumble. and I will be the last witness to the unmaking of all things. A tear, if such a thing could be believed, slid down his pale cheek, and then silence. When I blinked, the booth was empty. The door had not opened. There had been no footsteps. He was simply gone. The aftermath. That night I did not sleep. When I finally drifted into restless slumber, my dreams were not my own. I saw visions of horrors beyond comprehension, thrones of angels splintering like glass, choruses of heaven screaming as circles of fire consumed them, the earth itself splitting open, oceans boiling, skies collapsing into endless black. And then deeper vision still, things no man should see. I saw myself standing on a crumbling altar, wings sprouting from my back, not feathered, but of spiraling flesh and eyes. My hands bled as they clutched a broken cross. My own voice chanted prayers that turned into screams. My body tore apart, piece by piece, feeding the hunger of the void. When all was devoured, only silence remained, a silence that was not peace, but absence. I woke up screaming, my sheets soaked, my throat raw. The question. It has been weeks since that night. I have tried to convince myself it was a dream, a hallucination brought on by exhaustion. Yet, the smell of sulfur lingers faintly in the confessional booth. The wood is scarred, burned as though touched by something unholy, and the shadows there feel thicker. I do not know if I have lost my mind or if I have truly glimpsed the future, but one truth remains. The devil came to me. The devil confessed, and he was afraid. The devil came to me that night, not with arrogance, but with fear. He spoke of horrors older than creation, of a hunger that devours both heaven and hell. And when I woke, I could not escape the truth. The devil confessed, and for the first time in eternity, he was afraid. Now I wonder if even he trembles before what is coming, what hope is left for us.